Okay, so what we're going to do here is explain basically what we're doing in the lab tomorrow. We are going to be working with interlocks. So interlocks are basically communicating between the individual stations and the conveyor. So interlocking basically means communicating between two different machines, two different PLCs. So this is all set up on the conveyor side already. What you are going to have to do is set up your portion on the individual machine sides. So to do that, there is basically a bunch of signals that are going to travel back and forth over device net. So we have pick the right pen here. We have our PLC panel that runs the conveyor. And we have the individual station panels. There's 8 of them all together. They look like this. Then we have the dual lane conveyor. Basically, one lane goes like that, one lane goes like this. Pallets travel around in a circle like that. And then basically what we've got out here is we have device net cable that runs kind of like this between each station. Basically does that. It also connects up to all the individual pallet stops that are out here as well. Connects up to those, runs the little transfer guys on the end, does a bunch of different stuff there too. Basically using device net, we are able to communicate between the conveyor and the individual stations. So station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what we use. There's also 7 and 8 which we don't use, but they're on there as well. So we use device net signals to connect these all together. So what these do, these device net signals, they basically we have a register set up which is N20. N20 has a size of 20 words. So we're basically N20 colon 0 through N20 19. That is what you have to work with. And the way that that works, I believe, is conveyor to your station is going to be N20 0 through 9, and then your station writing to the conveyor is N20 colon 10 through 19, I think is what's available there. I think that is correct. So basically that is what is available to us to exchange back and forth with the conveyor. And the way that is going to work is is we basically need to predefine some signals that we're going to send back and forth. This is the way it's going to be done. If you're working on a machine with another company, they'll basically say these are the interlocks we want to send back and forth. So basically we have a couple things we need to establish. We need to set up something that means comms is okay. We always want to verify that our communications are good. We want to set up something that says that conveyor is running, and then likewise we'll set up something that says that the station is running. On the flip side of this, and then what we're going to do is the conveyor will send us, blue is basically what the conveyor is sending us, red is what we're sending the conveyor. They are going to send us pallet present. They are also going to send us the pallet number, so they can actually read what pallet number is in the station and tell us what that is. And we are going to tell them when we are complete with our cycle. So that's the way that is going to work. Okay, so let's look at the way this station is going to run. This is station number 1 on the line right now, so you can see the pallet stop in the middle there. That is this guy here. That is the pallet stop. This thing here. And what's going to happen here, you're going to see the pallet when I play here. The pallet is going to come into the stop. At that point, we have read pallet present. So what happens there is we have our interlock that comes from the system. That is called pallet present. So that has basically gone from low to high. And what we are now going to do is we are going to run our cycle. We're waiting until this happens. Once we get pallet present, we run our cycle. We're going to run our cycle. Once we finish our cycle and we're done, we are going to send a signal out to the machine, out to the conveyor. We're going to turn on a signal right here. Once our cycle is done, and this is going to be called cycle complete. And we send that to the conveyor. And that it indicates to the conveyor that the cycle has been completed. They can now release the pallet. And they are going to react accordingly to that. So we'll watch this. So we receive our signal that says pallet is present. That's what actually initiates the cycle to start. We will be transferring a part over here now. We're going to pick up our part, move it over, see it move over. We're going to drop it. And as soon as we raise, we're going to turn on our complete. As soon as we do that, the pallet is okay to release. that is basically the operation that we want to get out of this. So we want to be able to program that in our machine in the lab. Okay, so what do we actually need to program here? So there's a couple different things. The very first line we need to do, we're going to add this. And all this is going to be, it's going to be the same in everyone's machine, because the interlock is going to be the same in every station. We have this bit here, and this bit, and what this is comms OK from the conveyor. This is comms OK to the conveyor. Now the way that this operates is basically you are going to see this bit is going to come, it's going to go on. When this comes on, our logic will turn this on. So this comes from the conveyor. When we see it, we turn our bit on. This bit goes to the conveyor. When the conveyor PLC sees this bit comes on, it's going to turn this bit off. So when that happens, this bit will go off, and our logic will turn this off. When we turn this off, we send that to the conveyor. That's going to turn that off in their PLC. When the conveyor sees it off, they will turn their bit back on again. And basically, we're going to get this action going on here. So basically, you're going to see these two bits flickering on and off continuously. And if you're seeing that operation, that means that we have a good connection between the station and the conveyor PLCs. And we can monitor that with some timers to basically check to see if we have good communication or not. So if you were to see this on for too long, like if that stayed on for a second, or if you see it staying off for a second, that would indicate you have some type of communication fault. So that is basically comms OK. Second thing we're going to add is another bit down here. It's just going to be on all the time whenever we're running our PLC. And the conveyor wants to see this on. This is basically going to indicate that I think this is basically just station on. And it basically sees that address there to indicate that that station PLC is actually running. So those are the first two things we must have in our logic. The next thing we need to have will basically run those two signals, the complete and the palette present and then the complete. So in our logic we have our sequencer, the very first line of our sequencer, well, one of the first steps. We're going to move a 1 if we are equal to 0. We're going to do that. We have everything is at home. We're going to add something right here. That's basically going to be the bit that says that we are ready to run. This is the one that is basically the palette present. So basically we will sit there at home waiting for this bit to come on, and that is what tells us there's a pallet there and ready to start our sequence. The next thing we're going to do is we actually need to turn on that bit that says that we are complete. And that is going to be this address here. And we're going to turn that one on somewhere at the end of our sequence. So what I've been doing is saying when I'm basically at one of the last steps, so if I'm equal to step 7 or step 8, whatever one of those final steps is, I've been doing it on on station 1 there, basically when we're moving up out of the way and we're about to do our return motion. So basically if we're equal to steps 8, turn that bit on, and that lets that's basically after we drop the part and we're ready to be finished. That's what we can do there. And that is basically what we need to do to interlock. The final thing we can do, we've got a couple more bits here. I'll just show you what they are, but basically there's going to be 3 bits that we're sending across. And these are going to be three bits that indicate this is bit 0, 0, 1, and 2 of the pallet number. So you can decode these into a binary code to figure out what the pallet number is. Basically 3-digit binary for the pallet number that comes across as well. And that is all the interlocking we're doing. The conveyor, you should be able to make your station run based off of this.